Welcome to True Crime with Strategic Eyes.
Strategic back again. Guys, I know we just did a live kind of talking about this whole controversy with TMZ, but I had to come back when I was free, which is now, to discuss TMZ's rebuttal to this whole controversy. Now, as I told you guys in my previous live, my sources, because I've got sources, and I cannot confirm or deny that those sources might be the exact same sources that TMZ was using to determine that Celeste was frozen. My sources told me that TMZ was going to come live and that they were going to apologize for this erroneous information. Well, just like TMZ's sources, my sources was wrong. Yeah, they doubled down. They did not apologize. But I listened to their rebuttal, their response to this controversy, and even their response has glaring holes in it, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to cover this. And I got to say this, I like cracking jokes. I like having a good time, okay? If anybody's new to the channel, Active Duty Detective, this is what I do in my fun time, my free time. Fun time, free time, okay? But on a daily basis, I do investigations. I lock bad guys up. I know how this process works. And I'm trying my best to educate you guys, the audience, as to what is happening in this case. And unfortunately, there's a lot of noise that's coming up, like noise from TMZ that's just not accurate. And it's sad because, as we said in a previous show, the family's watching this. And the family has to hear these erroneous statements that's going to cause them pain. And so I'm sorry for that. I am truly sorry that the family has to go through this. But I think, like I said before, I don't blame Harvey. And a lot of people will disagree me with that. Like, because some of you guys may not like TMZ, whatever. I don't really, I'm not in that space, all right? They're an entertainment channel. It is what it is. I don't have a problem with Harvey. I don't think this is Harvey's fault. As I said in a previous video, this is his team's fault. And his team is digging him in a hole that he does not need to be in, because all Harvey had to say was alleged. Allegedly, this is what we're hearing, but Harvey's not saying that because his team is saying this is the source of sources and you got to believe them. So Harvey's coming out on camera and he's saying, I 100% believe in this source, and you can't 100% believe in anything. It doesn't even require 100% for you to be found guilty in a court of law. Beyond a reasonable doubt is not 100%. It's like 99%, 98%. It's not even a number that we even know. It's not perfection. It's just that the evidence says that this happened. It doesn't have to mean that it 100% was the person who did it. Like if I showed you a video right now of somebody committing a crime, can you, and I show you a picture and a photo ID of the person that you see in that video, can you say 100% that the person in that video is the person in that ID I'm showing you that looks like that person in that video, that that's the person who committed the crime? Well, if you're a layman person, maybe you'd say yes. But if you're a detective, you'd say no. I cannot say definitively that that's the person. Why? How many illegal beagles and true investigators do we have watching this show? Don't people have twins? Would it be the first or the last time that a twin committed a crime and the wrong twin got blamed for it? No, it wouldn't be the first time. It happens all the time. So as an investigator, you'd say, wow, those two people, the person on the screen and the person in this ID, are very similar in appearance. But then you'd want further information to bolster whether that person is or is not the culprit. You'd want some fingerprints. You'd want some DNA. You'd want some additional witness testimony. You'd want to check out alibis. You want to see, where was this person in the ID that looks like the person who's in that video? What's their alibi? Where were they? Can I get a hold of their phone and get some GPS location, etc.? Can I speak to their loved ones who were saying that maybe they were home or they weren't home at the time of the crime? You need to develop your case. So it's unconscionable that Harvey is saying 100%, I believe what my source is telling me, without seeing that evidence with their own eyes. So we're going to go through their rebuttal. We're going to point a few things out that just does not make sense.
Does that make sense?
Well, let's keep going.
An LAPD captain is disputing
part of a story that we broke over the weekend. A story about David, the singer David, and the body that was found in his Tesla, that body of Celeste Rivas. And the part of our story that we broke over the weekend was that the remains of Celeste were partially frozen when they were found in the Tesla. This was back in early September, first week in September, when they discovered this when David's car had been towed to an LA tow yard. Well, the LAPD captain is saying that the body was not frozen.
Herein lies the issue.
Here comes Harvey.
We have a very well-connected source connected to the medical examiner, the LA County Medical Examiner, which currently has the body. And
Here, they currently have the body, Harvey? Hold on. I'm a little confused here. I'm a little confused because what's this? What is this? Was Celeste not buried by her family? All right, you know, some people say a picture is like worth 1,000 words, right? That's what some people say, right? Well, how about a video? How about a TMZ video? What's the title of that video? Funeral held for Celeste Rivas Hernandez.
oh my God!
I told you guys, Harvey is the boss. Harvey is also the talent. The boss can't be everywhere at every moment. That source is not talking to Harvey. That source does not have Harvey's personal cell phone. This is his producers that's setting him on this wrong path. This is his producers. His problem is that he constantly doubles down and he's incapable of saying, we got it wrong. Or, you know what? We're going to hold off on our previous assertion. We're going to wait for more information before we come out there and say anything definitive. This is your video, Harvey. You spied on that family with a telephoto lens at the funeral while they laid her body to rest. I have to say that big shout out to TMZ for showing respect to this family by using that telephoto lens to document this without getting close to them, without interrupting them, and without violating their privacy. So kudos to you guys. Great video. Okay, let's go back to Harvey because, you know, he's got more to say.
And that source has doubled, tripled, quadrupled, and sextupled down, actually, now, saying that the body was indeed partially frozen when it was received by law enforcement. So that's kind of interesting.
Oh, boy.
But the medical examiner is just telling a different story, or at least the sources we have, and we have sources in all camps in this, there's a conflict here.
We'd heard that there had been this conflict between LAPD and the medical examiner.
There's been tension for several years. But this is kind of interesting. One of the documents at the LA County Medical Examiner's office has an interesting statement. This has to do with trying to fingerprint Celeste's body. It says, the decedent was not live scanned due to waterlogged fingers. Well, that's kind of interesting.
Right. Why would the fingers
be waterlogged?
Well, certainly if the body had been frozen for quite
What did I just do? There we go.
some time and then is sitting in a bag in this Tesla out in the blazing hot summer sun, yeah, you would imagine
Nah, no. But let me let you finish your sentence.
that there's going to be some water in that bag.
So
Okay, what these guys fail to understand, right? These guys who are very intelligent, learned, and rich guys. But you can't be a jack of all trades. You can't be a very entertaining news gossip show and still also be a detective, be a medical examiner, be a scientist, and all that good stuff. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. Celeste was in a bag. I think everybody confirms that she was in a bag. The bag, I assume, I'm going on a limb here, was sealed. She was also in a controlled environment, meaning that it was not exposed to the elements. Rain wasn't getting in, rain wasn't getting out. Plastic is also not porous. You don't store biological materials in plastic. That's crime scene investigation 101. For those of you who don't know, I'm also a certified crime scene technician, certified by the state of New York. You don't put biological material inside of plastic. Why? Because it incubates and it actually fuels the growth of bacteria, resulting in degradation of the biological source. Now, one other thing that's going to happen inside of a plastic bag that's sealed is that you're not going to get a lot of evaporation of bodily fluids. So, of course, her fingers are going to be waterlogged, considering that she's literally just stewing. I hate to use those words like stew. She's literally just swimming in her own fluids. There's no way for those fluids to go. So waterlogged fingers, if that's correct, because we don't know if we should even be believing this person. We don't know if we should even believe this source from TMZ. If it's correct, there are so many other reasons why her fingers could be waterlogged. It could be also the humidity of being in a hot trunk, in a sealed up bag with a whole bunch of internal fluids that are being evaporated and condensed, evaporated and condensed. Why? Because it's in a closed, controlled environment. How do you assume that the only way her fingers are going to be waterlogged is if she was taking a swim in a pool or she was frozen and thawed out? Where did you get that from? I don't know. Let's keep going.
So you've got to kind of like look at the big picture here. So we told you that even though there has not been a cause or manner of death determined by the medical examiner, and there may not be because of the state of the body, the LAPD is operating under the assumption that this is a homicide and that David is a suspect. And there is an accomplice, they believe, somebody who helped dismember the body. Now, there is a mysterious trip that becomes really important in this case, we're told, that David took to Santa Barbara in the spring of this year, in the middle of the night in a remote area of Santa Barbara County, spent several hours there. We are told the following, that and this is based on sources, that the body wasn't buried, but the strong insinuation that we got was that's where it was dismembered. So what happened to the body between the spring, if this is true, between the spring of this year and September when the body was discovered in the car?
Right. I mean, if this...
All right, so check this out. Before one of his mocha latte sippers starts talking, you know, the mocha latte sippers that basically leading him down a really, really, really embarrassing path, right? Let's talk about that. Right, the dismemberment. This dawned on me. I don't know why this never dawned on me before, but this controversy has really got me a thinking, because I got a lot of cases I got to think about. I got my own cases I'm thinking about, and also got to think about the cases that we cover on this show. And we just don't cover this. We cover all kinds of stuff on this channel. If you're going to dismember a body, why would you dismember a body and leave the clothes on? Remember, we know what she was found in. She had the tube top and all that stuff, pretty much the same outfit she was always wearing every time we seen her. And she always had like the big sweaters, tube top and all that stuff, same outfit. Like David didn't even buy her nothing to wear. You'd think that if your boyfriend is a multi-millionaire budding pop star, R&B alternative emo pop star, you think he'd take you, like, part of the deal is like, I'm going to take you luxury shopping. I'm going to take you to Hermes and all that stuff. You're going to be fly. Now, she had the same hoodie on every time we saw her. We know where she was found. Why wouldn't you take her clothes off if you're going to dismember her? You want to dismember her, make her unidentifiable. Why wouldn't you do something that is almost basic? Why wouldn't you take off the expensive jewelry that they found intact in her ears, around her neck, on her wrists, and on her finger? Why is it she was found with expensive jewelry in place on her body and fully clothed, but yet they're telling us that they took her out to the desert to dismember her? How would you know that she was taken specifically to the desert to be dismembered and not have an arrest right now? Because for you to know that she was specifically dismembered in the desert, or your ME source to know that, that means that the police have video or witness testimony to a person who was there, flipped, and is now state's evidence, and is now telling the police, I was there, she was dismembered in the desert. How would you know that? Or maybe David gave a confession allegedly, and he said, I took her out to the desert and dismembered her. If that's the case, and you could specifically know where she was dismembered, why isn't there an arrest yet? Why haven't they even named a suspect? Because to know that she was dismembered in the desert would mean you'd know who dismembered her and who may have helped and who may have witnessed it. And if that's the case, why wouldn't you remove the dismemberment? Is to make the body easier to transport and easier to hide. A body weighs a lot. When you dismember it, it does not weigh as much. Why wouldn't you go the extra mile of removing her jewelry so that one would not be able to say, number one, that's a girl because we have female jewelry on, and number two, that's Celeste because we know her to have that specific jewelry? Why wouldn't they do that? Why wouldn't you take her clothes off? It'd be much easier to cut through her body if you weren't cutting through polyester as well. Why would you leave her clothes on? It doesn't make sense because it's not true. And if it is true, that means the LAPD is straight up lying to us. Let's keep going. Because we're hearing from an anonymous source that's talking to them that they're not giving up. And to counter that anonymous source, we have the head of the Robbery Homicide Division, Captain Williams, saying specifically, that's not true. Who do you want to believe? Who do you want to believe?
The theory, I think that it would make sense if they went there just to not have a mess, and that's when they dismembered it, and then it was in a freezer for a long period of time, and then...
It almost points to, it must have been frozen, and I understand the LAPD captain is disputing.
I want to stop this real quick because I also wanted to throw up this timeline. I appreciate Research Crew sending this to me. I'm like, I just throw things at them, like, get me this. I need it now. And they always show up. I appreciate it. So once again, Research Crew put this timeline together. Remember, they said that she was just in that car and they found her frozen. Let's go back to this timeline again. This is the last time that that car was moved. I believe, and I'm going to go out on a limb because I don't want to say anybody's 100% right or 100% wrong. And I don't take sides. I know a lot of people don't like certain people on the internet and their takes on stuff. I just search for facts. SF Investigates says that he reviewed video and that after July 29th, this car did not move. And I believe I also heard him say nobody went in the car, nobody put anything in the car. In fact, they never even saw her body being placed in that car, meaning that this car came from somewhere else to that house and Celeste was already in the car. And then when it went to, on the 29th, when it was parked where it was parked, it never moved again. How does the ME, the source in the ME, only a source in the LAPD would have this answer because they have these videos. All this stuff, allegedly, according to SF and other people, was turned over to the LAPD. You don't turn stuff over to the ME. I'm going to explain to you how the ME works in a second from somebody who works with the ME almost every single day. Almost every day. Right now, once again, we got 375 people watching this. Many of you came here because of my title. You don't know nothing about this show. I am a detective right now. So I'm not telling you how I worked with the ME 20 years ago before I retired. I'm telling you how I work with the ME right now. Now, SF, the LAPD, they have the video. It's being said that that car did not move. How is it that that body got placed into that frunk, which is the front trunk of that Tesla, without somebody catching it on camera? And if it was caught on camera, why don't we have an arrest yet? Why don't we have an arrest yet? If it is caught on that camera in that area that is highly and heavily surveillance because it is property of mega rich people. And if there's one thing they have to do is they have to protect their property. The cameras are there to protect their property. The cameras are there so if somebody breaks into their home, they could show it to the insurance company, and the insurance company won't balk on reimbursing them $1 million, $2 million. Remember, somebody breaks into our houses, we get a couple hundred, couple thousand because we're poor. Somebody breaks into their house, they're stealing a Bugatti. They're stealing a Ferrari. They're stealing or damaging a chandelier that costs $20,000. That insurance company wants proof before they pay out that kind of money. So multiple surveillance cameras in that area. None of them captured anybody move that car after July 29th. How did that body get in there? Whereas almost a month and a half later, it's still frozen when it makes its way to the ME. It's not possible, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep going.
This, but our sources insist 100% it was frozen. And that completely makes sense. Partially frozen when the body came to the ME's office.
It also makes
partially frozen. He's still doubling down. Our sources says it's partially frozen when it came to the ME's office.
sense with the state of decomposition, right? I mean, from spring to when it's discovered in September, when the body is discovered, they say it's in a state of decomposition, but the waterlogging, all that stuff indicates frozen at some point, whether frozen when they actually pull it out or not.
See, now they doubling back. Now they walk it back. Oh, frozen at some point. And guess what? Harvey's he's gonna backtrack too in a little bit. He's gonna backtrack. It's okay to be wrong, but you gotta man up to it, man. You cannot double down. That's gonna make you lose credibility. And guess what? This community is what made you. The moment I lose my credibility, the two people who watch my show is gonna stop watching. The same thing can happen to you guys. You think that your show is too big to fail. It's not too big to fail. Listen to Strategic. I'm sending you my resume. I will be a consultant. I will clean house for you, Harvey. You need to get all those mocha latte sippers out of your show because they leading you down the wrong path. Rule number 1, never make the boss look bad. You guys are making your boss look bad right now. Let's keep going.
Because the state of decomposition of a human body from the spring to the summer would be really pronounced. You wouldn't see fingers and things like that, even to live scan in the first place.
Yep.
I don't even want to go as far as saying, yeah, we know it's frozen, because we don't. This is what we're
being told. Right.
We've got sources.
Walking back. I'm not even going to say that we know it's frozen because we don't. This is what we're being told. But in your initial video, you said 100%. 100% she was frozen. Because I believe my source. 100%. Now you say, well, we really don't know. Come on. This is what we're being told. Harvey's a lawyer. Harvey's a lawyer. He know how to talk. Go ahead. Let's keep going.
Sources, in the investigation, and we have told you appropriately, I believe, what the nature of our source is in connection.
Appropriately, I believe. Now he talking like he on the stand again. He got his lawyer back now. He not the gossip guy no more. He's going back to his bar days. He's now an attorney again. Oh, we believe, we acted in good faith. You know what I'm saying? As we say in Harlem, that's called copping the fifth. Right now, he's copping the fifth right now. Let's keep going.
Into this, but I don't know how you put the dots together, connect the dots of spring, say it's April, May, June,
Right.
July, August. That's 4 months. What happened to the body during those 4 months?
By the
And
way,
the
the
body-
4 warmest months in
Yeah, exactly.
Southern
In
California.
Southern California.
And it would start to smell. The fact that
The
it
odor
didn't,
was there, though, according to the tow
The
shop.
odor was
Right,
there.
no, at the
Because
tow
it was
shop.
decom-
Right.
because it
At
was
the-
Yeah, see, but this is the thing. These people don't even know the case. And listen, I don't presume to know the whole case because this is not the only thing I cover. I learn things every day from you guys. All right. I'm not covering this hard like some other YouTubers and Reddit people who are doing an amazing job and all that stuff. I'm not on it like that. Right. But even I know that neighbors were complaining that the car was smelling before it even went to the tow yard. They thought that there was a dead animal there. And they didn't think it was a human. They didn't think like, oh my God, this is the Hollywood Hills. Why would there be a dead animal, a dead human in this trunk? If I walk by a car and I would assume that there might be a dead animal because that happens, especially in upstate region of New York. Dead animals will crawl into the engine space, the car start up, the animal dies, you don't even know, and then starts smelling crazy in a couple of days, a couple of weeks. So even if you followed this case one bit, and if I was getting paid millions of dollars like TMZ is to follow these cases, I probably would know that. You would hope they would know that, because just off of this story, one show, they probably making like $20,000, $30,000 off of YouTube with one show on Celeste. You would know that the neighbor said that the car smelled like a dead body. They just thought it was an animal. Then it went to the tow yard, and the tow yard said the same thing. This car been smelling for a long time. The only saving grace is that this is the suburbs. This is rich man land, Hollywood Hills. These folks aren't walking like that. They're driving in their cars. Maybe once in a while you had a jogger, and maybe they might, oh, it stinks, I'm a jogger across the street. But it's not like it's a city street where people are passing by every single day. This is a suburban area where the majority of the traffic that's going to happen up there is car traffic, which means you're not going to be smelling it every single day. But let's keep going.
The tow shop, yeah. Right,
Correct.
but I think, remember how long the Tesla was parked on the street? I think that it would have started emitting some sort of, I'm not a scientist, but some sort of smell before it was eventually towed away.
And obviously,
Right, and it did. So you don't know what you're talking about. This is the first mocha latte person I'm going to ex-nay when you hire me. She put her mocha latte frappe on the table before she came live, and she don't know what she talking about. She got to go too, Harvey. Don't worry, Harvey. I got your back, baby. We gonna save that show.
the one thing we can't explain is how does the body end up in that car?
Yeah.
How does the body end up
And why?
in the Tesla?
Yeah.
And
How? I mean, obviously, someone placed it.
I mean, tell your source to tell us, because your source obviously knows when the body was put in there to say that it was frozen, because the rest of us have evidence that that car did not move. At least evidence has been communicated with us that that car did not move. So you tell us at what point, a day or 2 or 3 days prior, that car was put inside, that person was put inside that car where it could be defrosting when it goes on that metal slab in the ME's office. Explain that to me. Let's keep going.
there, but we can't.
It doesn't
Why
make-
they would have done it?
It's really
is-
dumb.
And the body
Yeah.
on top of that was also a process. It was dismembered. There's a lot of factors that go into complicating this issue a lot, right? There's the potential freezing. There's the parts all over the place. It's a very, very sad story at the end of the day.
Potential freezing. Look, mocha latte, caramel frappuccino. Get rid of them, Harvey. You two can say I like these two right here. I like them. I like Harvey. I like his buddy. I never. What's this guy name? Like St. Clair or something like that. I don't know his name, but he's a nice guy. I like him. He's a voice of reason. These mocha latte frappe people gotta go, bro.
Some of these you see,
Yeah.
like what belonging she had, what she was wearing, things like that.
Right.
so, the one thing that I was told by one of the sources is don't necessarily use logic to try to understand this.
That
I don't think
keeps
you can.
ringing
Yeah.
in my head. I remember when you said that, and it's been ringing in my head ever since finding out that the source said that the body was partially frozen. Then that
All right, hold on. I shouldn't have to ask this, man, but come on, guys. I'm over here sweating bricks. I should take the sweat off. Give you guys a show breaking down the bull crap that's in this response. We got 175 likes. We have almost 500 people watching the show. Please, if you forgot to hit the like button, make sure you hit that like button, support the channel so we can get to a wider audience and be viewed inside of that algorithm. That's all. The only reason why we're asking is so we could get in the algorithm. Since I just stopped the show, Let me go ahead and read this fan funding here. First of all, we got Unsolved Amy Boston, who's celebrating 1 month as a patrol member. Welcome. We appreciate you. Summer of 88 has now signed up as a recruit member. Welcome to the family. We appreciate you as well. And Lasagna with a $5 super chat says, I'm late to the live chat. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Strategic, and your family at home and here. About D4VD, sadly, he will probably walk. Well, let's hope not. And I don't think he's going to walk. I think that this case is going to round itself out and we will get justice for this beautiful girl, Celeste. But we just got to be patient. We just got to be patient. And lastly, Gabrielle Perez is celebrating 8 months as a recruit member. And thank you so much, Gabrielle, for supporting the channel for so long. I hope to see you around even longer. Let's keep going.
Leads me to, why was it placed in this car? And I just kept hearing that in my head, that a lot of this, there's part of this that is not going to make sense.
Yeah, right.
Hi, my name is Brianna Nunley from Orlando, Florida. When I heard him say, this isn't going to make logical sense, that makes a lot of sense to me as like an independent pop culture journalist, because when you hear the way that fans are speculating about this death and this loss for the family, a lot of it goes back to the lyrics, his music videos, and how he makes it very clear in his songs what he did to her. But unfortunately, when we're reporting this in the ethical and appropriate way, we can't say the obvious that everyone is already saying online.
Yeah, there's a difference between what people online are thinking and theorizing and what the actual facts are, or even just the information that we can report. So, two different things.
Okay. Let's listen to what the captain had to say. This is another interview that the captain did. It's an audio interview. We'll go ahead and listen to it. This is Captain Williams, who's the head of the robbery homicide division of the LAPD. Let's see what he has to say. And then I'm going to explain to you how police interact with the ME's office, and it's pretty consistent around the country. And you'll get more of a feeling as to why I believe that this ME source that they're dealing with is not accurate. Let's keep going.
LAPD says some recent media reports about the homicide case involving that teenage girl and the singer David are basically flat out wrong. Emily Valdez fills us in.
What is true? The partially dismembered body of 14 or 15-year-old Celeste Rivas was found in the trunk of a Tesla owned by the singer David after it was abandoned and towed from the Hollywood Hills. Investigators still don't know how she died. Here's LAPD robbery homicide captain Scott Williams.
The most recent TMZ articles they're very disappointing from my perspective. There's a lot of misinformation contained in there, and it seems like other news outlets have picked up on what they've reported. And
so this captain cannot go out there and talk to the media without authorization from the commissioner of the LAPD. All right, we don't take these things lightly in law enforcement. This captain cannot even get out of his seat and either make a phone call if he called into the show or drive to a studio and actually have a conversation with a news outlet without A, permission, and B, a full understanding, synopsis, written report as to what he plans on saying to this news outlet that has to be approved, has to be edited, and resubmitted to him and like, no, this is what you're gonna say. So everything that he's saying is scripted. And it is exactly what he's authorized to say by the LAPD. There's no free will in here. Him being a captain means absolutely nothing. That's not even the highest rank in the LAPD. That's like a mid-tier management rank. So understand that when he makes this statement, this is the statement of the LAPD that they have authorized this captain to give the news media. So you have the LAPD basically saying that TMZ is wrong, and TMZ is saying, well, we have some anonymous source in the ME's office who's telling us something different. We believe the ME, you believe whatever you want. Make it make sense.
Reported it as though it was fact when it actually is not fact. They're reporting that Celeste's body was frozen when it was discovered is untrue. Celeste was not decapitated. So I'm not sure exactly who their source is that's giving them this information, but none of it was verified through legitimate law enforcement sources, and They've chosen to report things that were factually inaccurate.
Williams says also false reports the singer was dismembering Celeste's body during a trip to a remote part of Santa Barbara County last spring. But David is considered a suspect.
Like I told you guys, that's what broke my heart the most, because that was huge. And they sold that like that's what was going to be the straw that broke the camel's back and break this case wide open. And it's just not true, ladies and gentlemen. It's 100% not true according to the LAPD. And I am going to believe the LAPD, and it's not my law enforcement bias, is because it makes logical sense, ladies and gentlemen. It makes logical sense that if the captain who's in charge of this investigation says that these things are not true, that most likely they're not true. Big shout out to Erin Murphy, longtime supporter of the channel. We appreciate her celebrating 8 months as a White Shield member. She says, hello, strategic guys. I appreciate you. And for those who don't know, Erin is a part of the law enforcement community. She does crime scene, by the way. She does a very important part of our justice process, and we salute her for her service, and we appreciate you, Erin. We appreciate your support to the channel. And big shout out to DP, who gave a 10 gift membership to 10 lucky people. If you're part of those 10 lucky people who got that gift membership, make sure you thank DP, because that's very, very, very generous of her and kind of her to do that. Let's keep going.
And police are investigating it as a possible homicide case. Williams also says the LAPD has put a hold on the public release of Celeste's autopsy report because investigators want to see it before it's made public. I'm Emily Valdez, KNX News 97.1 FM.
We do want to add the chief medical examiner says he's not happy that he can't release those autopsy results for the teen girl. He released a statement saying basically the practice of security holds is virtually unheard of in other counties and has not proven to improve outcomes in the legal system. He says he wants the department to have full transparency, but the law doesn't allow that while this court order remains in place.
Yo, big shout out to whoever gave us coffee just now. We appreciate you. Thank you for being a supporter of the show. Erin Murphy just gave us 5 gift memberships to the membership, man. That's awesome. Appreciate you, Erin. Once again, if you guys were lucky enough to get that one of those 5 gift memberships, make sure you thank Erin. That was very, very kind of her. I appreciate you for your longtime support of the show. Big shout out to Jennifer Flores with a $5 super chat. Says there's a certain pic of David where he looks like a sideshow Bob from The Simpsons, and that's all I see now. I hear you, man. This guy is weird, and I'm about to play something for you that is just diabolical in just a second. I'm gonna let this play out. And this is literally diabolical what I'm going to play for you from D4VD.
Make money from your...
All right, so I think that's it. Is that it?
Here, it's way season ahead. Amazing tour bus.
All right, that's it. All right, so now let me show you guys this diabolical video.
Hey, everybody.
This is David here. And he's going to teach us a little bit about sin. He's going to teach us about sin.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Preacher David about to teach us about sin. I need to make this fit. How do I make this fit? How does this fit? Full screen. Boom. Let's watch.
It's David here. Today, I'm going to be talking about sin and God's forgiveness. And I'm going to be reading from Romans 7:14. And it goes like this. We know that the law is spiritual.
Hold on here. What's happening? Interscope trying to shut us down. Get behind me, Satan. Interscope trying to shut us down. Oh, shoot. Did they delete this? Hold on here. Hold on, buddy. Hold on. Here we go. Uh-oh.
Hey everybody, it's David here. Today I'm going to be talking about sin and God's forgiveness. And I'm going to be reading from Romans 7:14. And it goes like this.
Oh my gosh, bro. Why is this acting up? This is crazy. It's nuts. Oh, that's crazy.
I don't want to do. And I hate what I do. And if I do what I don't want to do, I agree that the law is good. As it is, I am no longer myself.
I keep acting up.
Who does those things, but the sin living in me. For I know that the good
Quality.
But itself does not. Hey everybody, it's David here. Today I'm going to be talking about sin and God's forgiveness. And I'm going to be reading from Romans 7:14, and it goes like this. We know that the law is spiritual, but I am unspiritual, sold as a slave to sin. I do not understand what I do, because I do what I don't want to do, and I hate what I do. And if I do what I don't want to do, I agree that the law is good. As it is, I am no longer myself who does those things, but the sin living in me. For I know that the good itself does not dwell in me, and that it's the sinful nature that dwells in me. For I have the desire to do what is good, but I cannot carry it out. For I do not the good that I want to do, but the evil that I don't want to do, this I keep on doing. Now, if I do what I don't want to do, it is no longer I who did it, but the sin living in me that does it. And this is Paul talking about his struggles with sin and how he cannot overcome that overwhelming urge to continue to do wrong, although he knows right from wrong and good and bad. I feel like we all have a moral compass, and that moral compass.
Satan, get behind me. Satan, get behind me.
Oh my God!
This will always lead us to the good option, but sometimes the bad option is easier. You take that easier route. It's a cop-out. You don't have to deal with the consequences of your sin by sinning. And personally, for me, I used to struggle a lot with lying.
David, I rebuke you. I rebuke thee in the name of Jesus Christ, David.
And lying is the easiest thing to do. It's the easiest sin to commit. And the devil is a liar. And he can alter your thoughts. The difference between God and the devil is the devil never knows what you're thinking. God always knows what you're thinking, but the devil doesn't know. He can never know what you're thinking in your head because he's not all-knowing. But what he can do is manipulate your thoughts and continue to plant these seeds. Plant these seeds that, oh, if you do this, it's so much easier. You have no consequences. You will never.
If you get a girlfriend that's underage, it's so much easier. She'll never tell you that you're wrong. She'll worship you. She'll treat you like the man. Sound familiar? Let's keep going.
Have to deal with that part. But when you come into Christ, you have to notice that God is the truth. And no matter what the consequences is, you have to kind of separate yourself from the sin completely and kind of accept. You have to continue to accept what you're doing is wrong. And then there comes repentance. After that is turning around and not continuing to dwell in that sin. And I feel like people are so used to relapsing and relapsing and relapsing, no matter what the sin is. And they think that God is not going to forgive them again because of how much wrong they've done and how shameful they feel. And that's not the case at all. I feel like people need to understand that God is forever loving and he's forever waiting for you to turn back to him. And he's not going to force himself on you. He's not going to be like, oh my goodness, I have to grab him and bring him back. He'll wait for you to make that realization and come back to him yourself. I'll tell you guys a story. I had a friend whose girlfriend continuously broke his heart and was continuously doing things that he knows that.
Did he kill his girlfriend? I'm just asking if he killed his girlfriend.
That she'll keep doing, and he'll keep on having to take her back because that love is so strong. And she'll keep promising and promising and promising that she'll change, but she never changes. And he'll be at the verge of breaking up with her and leaving her. And then she'll be like, wait, can you please wait for me? I'll change. I promise I'll change. I'll change soon. I'll fix these problems. And he'll be like, okay, maybe I do have this faith that you will change, so I'll stay. Even at my own expense, I'm the one being hurt. I'm the one getting my heart broken. I'll stay because that love I have for you is so strong. And sometimes I wonder, as a sinful person, as we all are sinful people, committing these sins and then turning to God and then looking at him in his eyes, and he watches everything we does and he's seeing us commit all these sins. And then we have the nerve to be like, wait, no, I'll stop. I'll change. When we have no intention of changing. And sometimes I'm like, does God almost break up with me sometimes when I'm committing the sins that I know that I'm going to repeat again, and I'm continuously fake repenting because I'm asking for forgiveness. I'm saying sorry a million times when I'm committing the same sins over and over and over again. But I'm saying, wait for me, just wait for me, I'll change, just wait for me. And because that love that God has for us is so strong, he's going to wait. He's going to wait for your return, wait for your genuine sorry, that last sorry that you'll ever have to say. He's waiting for that sorry. He's waiting for that change. He's waiting for the Holy Spirit to activate and to work in your life and to actually see that change. And it's a comforting thing to know that there's somebody waiting for your change. Even though you're saying you're going to change a million times and you don't do it, God is still standing right there with his hand out. He's not pulling his hand back because of your sin, because your sin is not stronger than the love he has for you. And I just want to encourage anybody that's currently dealing with any addictions, any problems, any sin, lying, anything in your life that you're struggling with, just know that God is still waiting for you with those open arms, and he's still waiting for you to come and return to him. And I would like to pray with you guys as I'm closing out this TikTok. Lord, I pray that the person watching this TikTok right now that is dealing with any type of sin, any addiction, any struggles with anything going on in their lives, I pray that you will give them peace, and you will give them the peace of mind that you will not turn away from them or turn your face from them, and that they can always return to you in repentance, and that they can always count on you in their darkest times and darkest hours, no matter how sad they feel, how depressed they feel, how oppressed they feel by their sin, that you are always standing by them through it all. In Jesus' name, I pray that you all have a great night, a great rest of your day whenever you're watching this.
Somebody in the chat said, I don't want to pray with him. We're not praying with him. I don't know who he's talking to. I don't know who he's talking to. I got double protection on. I got the tinfoil hat and the bonnet on. Double protection from this dude. He's not praying with us, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know who he's praying to, because Celeste was found in his trunk dead. And until somebody accounts for that, you got to own that, David.
I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening to my music, and thank you for tuning into the TikToks. I'm going to continue to try to do these videos every day. I love you guys so much. Peace.
He could pray all he want. That don't mean we praying to the same place, because you can't make a prayer like that and then go on stage and have little girls and little boys singing how they killed somebody and they don't even care. You can't do that. You can't bring a casket to a concert and have teeny boppers sign in the casket and sign in a notebook so they could commune with the dead. You can't do that. You can't cast spells in your shows and then pretend like you a God-fearing person. I'm sorry, it don't work that way. It don't work that way. So yeah, David could pray to whoever he want to pray to, but that don't mean we praying together, brother. Or you could pray to the same God I'm praying to, but that don't mean he listening, because your heart ain't right, young man. Your heart is not right. And whether you took her life or not, I agree with Ashley Banfield when she says, your girlfriend. That was the original sin. The original sin was that you messed with an underage girl. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys had a great time. I hope I was able to give you some knowledge. You know, before we go, I told you I was going to explain to you how it works with the Emmy. The Emmy... And we'll be brief with this because I got to get my son some food, and I got to get some food for myself. We don't usually eat bad. We usually eat very healthy, but he wants Chinese food, and I'm going to join him. We're going to get fat together. A family that eats together and gets fat together. I guess they get high cholesterol together. Let me explain to you how it works with the Emmy. So the Emmy does not have access to the investigative materials of the detectives. The Emmy relies on the detectives to get information. So I'll give you an example. Let's say I get some panties and some shirts and some jeans as a part of an essay case that I'm conducting. The victim is going to tell me, if they remember, where they believe the suspect, the person of interest, touched their clothing, ejaculated, spit, kiss, bite, whatever, whether I'm looking for touch DNA or I'm looking for some type of serology, which is bodily fluids. They're going to tell me where they think that happened. I'm going to submit that to the ME, and I'm going to tell them what tests I want them to run on it. This is the power of detectives. All the ME is the scientists. That's all they are. They are doing the bidding of the police department. I'm going to tell them what tests I want them to run on the evidence. Then I'm going to attach a separate sheet of paper to those files, those requests, those lab requests. And that separate sheet of paper is going to have like a diagram of clothing. And I'm going to put an X in a circle where I believe might have evidentiary value. If for some reason I forget to attach that paperwork, which I never do because I'm very meticulous with my work, you know what's going to happen? They're going to call me up and they're going to say, hey, you didn't put that paperwork in there. Where do you want us to touch? And this is their big thing. Did the touch last for more than 3 seconds? That's their thing. Big thing. I always say yes. Because it always does happen, right? Yeah, that's why I always say yes, because they always touched it more than. They're going to call and ask me. If they don't get a hold of me, they're not testing it. They're going to ask me a synopsis in that paperwork. I'm going to give them a synopsis of the case. I'm going to point out some things that I think will help them do their search better. All of that comes from me. So who are you going to believe? The scientist that's in the laboratory that has had no experience in the field on this case, or the detective that's actually chasing all the leads, doing the interviews, going through all of the electronic and paper evidence, the trail, the digital trail? You're going to believe the ME who's in the office and is relying on the detectives for their information? Or you're going to believe the actual detectives themselves who are being spoken or who are being represented by the captain, their boss? I'm going to believe the captain because the captain is getting reports and briefings from those detectives who are working this case. I'm not going to believe the scientists who did not leave their laboratory. They did not leave their morgue. If they have a question, they're going to ask the detective. That's the relationship between the ME and the police department. The ME doesn't do their own investigation. They don't have the details. The details come wholly and squarely from the detective. So I don't believe this source. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I believe the captain. And if it turns out this source is true, I will come forward and say, I got it wrong. LAPD lied to me. LAPD lied to all of us. TMZ was right all along. But until that day comes, unless TMZ is going to produce to us some leaked documents or some proof, and I hope not, because I don't want to do anything to compromise this case. But unless they're going to give us something more than an anonymous tip, I'm going to believe the official reporting, the official testimony that's being done by the captain of the LAPD. I just noticed a big old stink bug right on my desk. I hate stink bugs. Get out of here. Ugh, hate stink bugs. Probably been sitting there like 5 years and I didn't notice it. I hope you guys learned something today. I appreciate you guys immensely. Please hit that like button on your way out the door. There's a lot of people watching this live stream and just very anemic likes. So please hit that like button, support the channel, help us get to a wider audience. I think we got something worthwhile to share with the world, but we can't share it unless YouTube thinks it's relevant. And the only way that YouTube is going to believe it's relevant is if you hit that like button. Remember, we have a Patreon where you can get exclusive content, unfiltered and raw from True Crime Strategic. We also have a membership where you have exclusive live streams that aren't put on a regular show that's just for members. We give a lot of bonus content on this channel and not for much. We keep it very affordable because we understand that people are on fixed budgets. We love and we respect our audience. We don't want to hurt our audience at all, and we want to make this show accessible to all. So we try and keep it cheap. We try and keep it affordable. We try to keep it classy. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Strategic is out of here. Peace. Wow, I'm so sorry. I had to come back. Aaron Murphy gave us a $20 super chat. Says Charlie Kirk got it right when he said, we focus on the grace, but forget that God wants us to sin no more. God does not want us to sin, man. I appreciate you, Aaron Murphy, for that $20 super chat. I almost missed that. I apologize. You guys know that we respect our audience here, and we never, ever, ever want to not acknowledge a super chat. Let me see if there's any more that I may have missed. Jennifer Flores says there's a certain pic of David where he looks like Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons, and that's all I see now. And then we have Tatum, where one of our super chats says, am I the only one who wasn't believing TMZ? Well, you certainly got it right, man. So we got that going. We shouted everybody out. Let's get out of here, man. Peace.